Hi, it's Stephen Gandolfi coming to you once again from the tasting room here at Westport Whiskey and Wine. We'll be talking about this week's flight, which is going to be a Wildturkey lineup, but first I want to drop in a couple of notes. First, we have a few events this week. On Tuesday night, we will have tasting with Force Majeure wine portfolio. It'll be $25. There's still some seats open for that. It's a really cool, smaller portfolio. Definitely worth coming and check out their wines. Wednesday night, this is the one that we're all pretty excited about. It's going to be our release of the Uncle Nearest barrel that we picked, 11 years old. Barrel yielded only 66 bottles, a cask strength. So very limited run, $10 to attend that. Not sure how much will be left over after that first night, so come by, give it a try, and snag it that night. Thursday night, we will be doing the next iteration for bar night on our classic cocktail variations. This week will be different takes on Manhattans, and those will be $4 a pop. Come by, try a couple different tastes on Manhattans, and that should round out the week. Stay tuned for our July events. We'll of course have those on the website and on the app. But moving on to this week's flight. Those of you that know me, that have spent some time back here in the tasting room with me, know that I am a big Wildturkey fan. And after getting to spend a little bit of time with Jimmy and Eddie Russell for an event last week, I thought it was time to revisit some Wildturkey whiskeys. So here we've got this core lineup: 101, Russell's Reserve 10-year, Rare Breed, WB Saffell. And typically, if you've noticed, I usually go up in proof as we go. This time we're going to start with 101, not just because it's the less expensive one, but for reasons that we'll discuss as we go along. Now, classically, Wildturkey has a high rye portfolio, high rye profile, making them kind of richer, spicier, zestier spirits. And 101 is a really good example of that. Now, I try to turn people into 101 as often as I can, but almost everybody has a, oh, that's what I drank in college sort of story. Well, if it's what you drink in college, I sincerely suggest you go back and give it a new look. 101 continues to be one of the best deals available in whiskey. I think it's currently on our shelves at about $25.99. Aside from the proof, I mean, it's got a fairly good age. I think the current blend has some 10 and 12-year-old stuff in it. It's rich, flavorful, good cinnamon flavor kind of profile, and just can't be beat. Very little wood present on the 101 entry, but there's going to be definitely more wood as we go up, and we'll talk about that as well. Russell's 10-year is, in many ways, it's sort of become the iconic Wildturkey expression these days, supplanting 101. It's heavier, it's a little bit more dense. These sort of richer chocolate and cherry notes are evident in the whiskey. $35.99 on the shelves these days. I mean, it's one that I always have open on my bar. Rare Breed is... There's very little I can say about this whiskey that doesn't speak for itself. 116.8 proof on this batch. The LLG series, which is what the serial number on this one is, people are starting to say that there's some 15-year-old juice blended in there. I can't find anything that attests to that. But with some of the profile on this, I mean, on the nose, I'm getting these rich, like woody, browny, kind of chocolatey notes. And on the palate, lots of cream and kind of like creme brulee and baking spice and more woodsy sort of notes. Suggests that maybe it has got a little bit of extra age on it. But, I mean, this has been one of my favorite batches of Rare Breed in the last couple of years. We'll wrap up with the new Whiskey Barons series release. Now, you should remember a few years ago, Wildturkey did these two Whiskey Barons whiskeys. They released those in, I want to say, 2017. It was the Old Rippy and the Bond and Lillard. They met with mixed reviews. I would say they're definitely worth trying if you get a hold of them. But I wasn't as wild about them as I have been about this expression here. A blend of 6, 8, 10, and 12-year-old whiskey is rested in 4-year-old barrels, coming in at 107 proof. This is, I mean, this is kind of beautiful old school whiskey when 107 would have represented cask strength. Again, lots of woodsy, spicy notes, darker, earthier, chocolatey notes. While the prestigious blog, I'll give a little plug, Rarebird 101, great site, says that this is what Rare Breed should be, I don't know if I quite believe that. This has its own place, but this is one of the most compelling whiskeys to come out of Wildturkey, I think, as of late, and it's definitely worth a try, especially in the context of this flight. So typically this flight would be $22. This week we'll do it for $15. Come on down and revisit Wildturkey.